Hello and welcome to the guitar tutorial for the Bon Iver song Holocene, one of my favourite songs. I know there's a couple of other tutorials already out there on YouTube. I don't think they quite nailed it, which is why I'm doing this tutorial, because I love it so much and I see a lot of people playing it. It's not wrong, it's just a different way. But this is how I'm going to teach you. I do believe it is the most accurate to what he plays in the acoustic guitarist plays in Bon Iver, because I've watched the video of him playing it live, and for the few camera seconds that he has, this is what he plays with his right and his left hand. It does sound like he's retuned his guitar differently, but it's not. He's restrung it. I normally would go into the descriptions how to play it now, but I do have to briefly explain how he's restrung his guitar before I can continue, because otherwise with your regular guitars it won't sound the same and you'll be scratching your heads. Okay, so I don't like to talk too much in the beginning of my tutorials because a lot of people get irate, but I'm going to have to do it on this occasion, unfortunately. So if you follow along briefly later, very soon I'll teach you how to play it. Okay, so he's restrung his guitar differently, and what he's done, in place of a regular third string, he's put a first string. In place of a fourth string, he's put a second string. In place of a fifth string, he's put a third string. In place of a sixth string, he's put a fourth string. Pretty simple. And he's tuned the guitar normally as it would, but the third through sixth strings are an octave higher. So personally, I haven't changed my fifth and sixth string. For the simple reason that as a solo acoustic piece, it sounds better when you've got deeper root notes, if that makes sense. So if you're going to cover this song in a band with other guitars and bass and everything, you're best off. The acoustic guitarist should restring all of his strings 3 through 6. If you're playing it as a solo cover, where you're playing and singing, just one acoustic guitar, no other instruments, then I think it's better to have fifth and sixth strings as regular strings. Okay, so quickly what it sounds like, what the strings sound like. So excuse me. Can be confusing trying to tune your guitar like that. So as a quick tip, if you fret your first string on the 3rd fret and play the open 3rd, that's the right octave you should have for the 3rd string. And on the 2nd string, if you play it on the 3rd fret again, you play your open 4th, that's what octave it should be. Okay, now capo on the 1st fret, I can finally get you into the tutorial itself. So what I'll do is I'll show you briefly the way to pick it. Obviously a lot of you will still have a regularly tuned guitar, so for the purpose of practicing you're going to not have to use that for now. So I'll teach you the picky bit, and then I'll show you on my other guitar here, which is a regular stringed guitar, what you should be playing if you're playing it on a regular string guitar. That way you'll know that you've got it right, and by the time you come to restring your guitar with the extra strings, you'll know that what you've been practicing is right. Okay, so enough talking, sorry about that, into the tutorial. So capo on the 1st fret, you fret your C chord, with your right hand you play strings 5, 3, 2, 3. Okay, and then you play 4, 1, 3, 4. Okay, so okay, song pretty much is the same thing with your right hand, other than a couple of other bits, which I will show you later on. I'll quickly show you what it should be sounding like if you haven't had a chance to change your strings yet. It should sound like this. Okay? That's enough of that. Back to the restrung guitar. Now then, the intro. If you've restrung your 5th and your 6th string, you should just play it normally and it'll sound like the intro, which is, you'll get 2 notes like this, and then you'll get... Okay? Because that, what I'm playing there is, instead of a root note on the there, I'm playing an open 3rd, because that's what note it will be on the 3rd fret on the 5th string, okay? That's why I can't play the intro as precisely as I could if I had all my strings changed. That's the only negative about leaving your 5th and 6th string on. But for the rest of the song it sounds better, obviously, because you've got the deeper root notes. Anyway, so the intro part, basically what you'd be playing is the intro part all the way through if you had your strings, all your strings changed. Anyway, enough talking, sorry about that. Next shape, you lift off, leaving only your first finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Now, this finger stays there throughout the whole song, so if I forget to mention it, that finger should be there, okay? And now what you do with your right hand, you play the first 4 notes from the sequence of plucks that I taught you earlier, which is 5, 3, 2, 3. Okay, and now you move your finger to the 3rd fret on the 6th string and use that as a root note. You play everything else the same, other than the first note is the 6th string rather than the 5th. Okay. And then back to the open shape again, which I'll call an A shape because it's rooted where the F must be. Play that once, and then the root note changes to the 1st fret on the 6th string. You either play it with your thumb if it reaches. If your thumb doesn't reach, you can move your middle finger to the 2nd string on the 1st fret and bring your index finger over to the 1st fret on the 6th string. Okay, so what we should have so far in the verse part. And then repeats, I think it repeats that twice towards the very end of that